Hello, hello, and hello. Welcome again to Timely Wisdom. We are so very blessed on today to still be here in the midst of all that is occurring in this country. And so, Dr. Wright, tell us, what are things looking like in your neck of the woods?
Let me just say, wow, ladies, it is there has been so many things going on. We have not had the destruction and so forth that they we have heard about in some of the other cities. So there has been some damage. Our mayor has been very visible. She's been very active in trying to keep peace and keep the people just having a dialogue and communicating. One of our main concerns has been the outsiders coming in,
Mm,
tagging
mhm,
buildings,
mhm, mhm.
doing things in the name of Black Lives Matter. And a good thing about that is people are being very visible with their cameras and they're saying, hey, don't do that. Stop. We don't want you to do that. We haven't asked you to do that. This is not depicting what we are representative of. This is in no way, form, or fashion helping our cause. So please stop doing that. Stop the destruction. And so I'm sure we're dealing with some of the same challenges that some of you all are. And so we just remain prayerful and thank God for the prayers, but we've got to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm encouraging, especially within our church families, talk to your children. I talked to a baby the other day. She was 16, and I said, what kind of conversations are you guys having? And she said, we don't know. We don't know what to say because this has not been presented to them before. And so it's real important that we talk to our babies.
Wow. Wow. Dr. Bradford, what about with you?
I'm really speechless. Having a conversation, riots. I'm speechless. When do we really get tired? When do we say I'm sick and tired of seeing all this? I don't have a whole lot to say. It's just I'm hurting. I'm angry. Yet I know that we all need to take action together as opposed to fighting each other. Um, it's sad to see. Yes, the mayor is talking. Yes, the police chief is talking. But what are we really going to do as a whole to help each other and work together as a whole? That's my main concern. Let's get together and do it together. Period.
Dr. Bradford, we're blessed today to have a return guest with us. Would you please do us the honors?
Yes, I can do that with a huge smile on my face. The first woman elected and consecrated in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the founder of the internationally known Leader Women Conference called Selah, a powerful prayer warrior, a prolific writer, the bishop of the 10th district, which is right here in the state of Texas. She could, it has over 300 churches. And you've seen her on CNN. You've seen her on other news networks. You've seen her on ABC, NBC. You've seen her on all these, but now you can see her and hear her on Timely Wisdom broadcasts. I introduce you to some, none other than the Right Reverend Bishop Vashti Murphy McKenzie. Hello, Bishop. How are you?
Praise the Lord. Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon.
everybody.
Good
Dr.
afternoon.
Bradford, thank you. Dr.
Yeah.
Byrne, thank you, Sarita. Thank you to your audience that is faithful to come every Tuesday afternoon to have dialogue. Dialogue is most important in exchanging ideas from different places. So thank you for inviting me back.
Yes. Good to have you.
Bishop, I would like to kind of, I guess, just to jump in for a moment. I know that you were called to be on CNN just very recently to offer prayer for the nation and what's going on. Just start there with us with the heartfelt for you. Initially, when we were asking you to come back, we were wanted you to kind of pick up where you left off, but so much has changed in this country since then. Just speak to us from your heart for a moment about everything that you see that's going on.
Well, for many of us, it's deja vu. We have been here before. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and when I was a teenager, when Dr. King was assassinated, and I recall that night sitting at home and rushing to pick up the phone because I come from a newspaper family. So when news happens, you go whoop, you call the editor, you call, hello, pick up the phone. The phone was dead, no phone communication whatsoever. And so, I'm a young teenager. I do the same thing that every other teenager. I went straight to the streets. I went outside to see what was happening. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There were so many people in the streets. Yes, there were people who were looting. Yes, there were people who were peaceful protesting. It was all smushed in together. I had a press card because I started writing for newspapers when I was 16. So I had a press card so I could cross police lines. So Vashti's crossing lines. I need to know, all that journalism stuff just kicks in,
Yeah.
I need to know what's going on. And I'm crossing police lines, moving all over the place to find out what happened. And the most frightening thing to a teenager, at least to this Black teenager, was to see the National Guard, these huge military trucks with soldiers in the back, coming down North Avenue, getting ready to set up headquarters in our neighborhood. And I said, wait, my little 16-year-old, 17-year-old self, I said, this is America. And we're doing here. And yes, it made me angry. It made me mad. Of course, our parents were conservatives and come on inside, baby. I don't want to come inside. Something's happening and it's not right. And so we lived through that, the burning of neighborhoods all over the country. It took 20, 25 years for those neighborhoods to come back. And then when Freddie Gray hit, I grew up in Penn North, 1 block away from where the riots happened. So here we go again.
Yeah.
And so for the millennials, for the young people, this is their first ride. This is their first rodeo. This is not our first rodeo.
Yes.
And so we have to ask ourselves, what lessons have we learned from these rodeos? And it's not just one incident. It's not just one thing that happened. It consistently happens. Every year, there's another shot. There's another woman like Breonna Taylor who's killed in her home. There's another Bolton John who's killed in his home. There is another Ahmaud Arbery. I'm just out walking. It was the same thing as Trayvon Martin. I'm on my way home. What's the matter with the rest of y'all? And just because of the color of your skin and the curl of your hair, all of a sudden you're the most feared entity in the whole wide world. So what lessons did we learn? Going through all of these things? That we need to have relationships with people who can speak truth to power at speaking truth to power time. Because power is not listening to the streets and not listening to the so there's got to be somebody somewhere who can take our message inside and say, this here is how we feel. Protest is the mechanism of people who are not being heard. If I'm not being heard by my political officials, if I'm not being heard by community leaders, if I'm not being heard, period, about my pain and my frustration, then the only avenue that I have is to take it to the streets and say, I'm in pain. This is a trauma. This is a trauma. And so if we learn anything, any lessons from that, we want to be able to do peaceful protests and not have our protests hijacked. And right now, protest is being hijacked by people who have other agendas. And those agendas are not to our best interest or heart. When Dylan Roof confessed that he wanted to kill Black people in church because he wanted to start a race war, he is not the only one who thought that thought.
Yeah.
He was not the only one who was on that agenda. And so you have, once again, people who are profiting from our pain and our frustration. So they're hijacking our stuff, and they are taking it in direction that we don't want it to go. We're protesting. We're not looters. We're not rioters. Okay. And so some people will say, "Oh, well, that's you black people. Y'all always doing that." Hold up.
Yeah.
History tells us back in the 1800s, white people rioted through black neighborhoods, broke into black businesses, killed 300 black people.
Oklahoma.
Wait a minute now. Wait, hold on. Wiped out whole black communities. For what?
Tulsa.
We don't, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We just really don't like that you doing well when you ought to do well. When you should.
Yes.
You got your own business. I'm mad that I don't have my own business. So what happens with Africans in America is that we tend to be blamed for everything. I don't have a job. It's their fault. I can't get in school. It's their fault. I can't have a better name. It's their fault. It's their fault. And so when people dehumanize you, take your personhood away from you, then you are no longer a human being. You are still chattel. You are still property. You're still less than human, and we can wipe you out anytime we want to wipe you out. If your music is too loud, we're going to wipe you out. If we think you're in the wrong neighborhood, we're going to wipe you out. If we feel like you shouldn't have prayer meeting, we're going to wipe you out. And so that's the prevailing thought that never went away. But now you have leadership in high places that are fanning the flames of this kind of hatred. This kind of hatred. So you don't have national leadership in high places that say, look, let's look to the reasons why we got to this place. And let's see if we can solve this issue. No, you got somebody who's gonna say, let's wipe everybody out. Let's just go kill them. If you don't kill them, we're gonna send the military.
Oh, have mercy.
Now the picture that I saw of somebody, and you know who that somebody is, standing in front of a church holding up a Bible.
Well,
Upside down.
Is
Upside down.
a Nazi leader who did the same thing, holding a Bible.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
There's a misappropriation of the gospel truth for your own advantages, and he's not the only one.
That's right.
So what is the lesson? What is the part of the lesson? So everybody has to do their protest from their pulpit.
right.
Okay. Everybody can't march. Those who can march, y'all go do that. Everybody can't do grassroots organization. If that's you, you go do that.
Right.
Everyone can't speak, doesn't have a platform to speak truth to power. If you have a platform to speak truth to power, you go do that. If you called to pray, do that. If you called to be the preacher and prophet, then you best be preaching about this, and you best be articulating what God says to you about it.
Absolutely.
So while we protesting, let's not fuel the narrative, the stereotypical narrative that they have already put together for us.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's change the narrative, and we can change the narrative. So when you protesting, all right, I'm not just angry. I want to tell you what I want.
That's right.
Okay, what do you want? I want a database of officers who have been fired for excessive force, wrongful death, or murder that follows them all the days of their lives. Period. So you cannot be hired in another city or another ever again.
Right.
What do you want? I'm angry. I'm mad. I want body cams on every officer that is always on. And if you do not have it on, then you suffer penalty. Either a loss of job, either you're furloughed or your pay is cut because your body cam is not on. I'm angry. And what do you want? I want de-escalation training for everybody who's out in the field. Period. What do you want? I want psyche valves on all officers before they are hired.
That's right.
And when they get to, after you get to be about 5-10 years on it, you got to do it again.
Exactly.
You got to do it again.
Evaluating.
And we're talking about training. It's not just one and done. If I ask how many people have read the employee manual, I probably get 5 or 10% of the people, which means there has to be ongoing conversation and ongoing things. I'm mad. What do I want? I want appropriate charges on officers who break the law. Now, understand, every officer is not breaking the law. No, we have some wonderful men and women who serve on police forces all over the United States, and you got one or two or three or four bad apples to give a black eye. So we cannot lump all of them together and say all of them are to blame.
Right.
But appropriate charges. Appropriate charges, because just because you have a pre-existing condition doesn't exempt you from the fact that you just murdered somebody. Now, see, you can get me angry up in here.
But you're absolutely right.
Listen.
Okay.
Listen.
So what I'm saying is that, yeah, I'm mad. Yeah, I'm angry. You know, if I was 16 and 17 years old, I'd be right there with you, saying I'm angry and I'm mad. But what we have learned from this is that it's not just enough to be angry.
That's right.
You have to tell people what you want.
Yes.
Absolutely.
My Lord.
Absolutely.
And then you have to tell people who can say what you want places where it can happen.
Where you can.
The United States, the House of Representatives has passed a hate crime bill, but the Senate hasn't passed it yet. So call your senator and ask them, what is your problem?
Yeah.
Okay. Pass the hate crime bill. If there is no hate crime bill in your community, then talk to the people who know how to write one and put it together and get it together and get it done. And get it done. So for me, it's not enough to be angry. What kind of suggestions can we make to change the culture?
Yeah.
And then the bottom line is, yes, we can legislate behavior, but legislation doesn't change behavior. And so what we have to do is to help people. It happened in 1968. When 1964, the Civil Rights Bill, the Voters' Rights Bill, moving on to 68, there were absolute changes because there was a prophet that articulated values across faith lines, from the church house to the banking house to the courthouse to the houses of Congress, and behavior changed. That's because people had a conscience then. Not quite
boy,
conscience now. And so what I say, I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm upset. However, in the language of Penn North, in Baltimore City on the west side, however, you can make a personal decision not to hate, not to spread fear, not to buy phobias or stereotypes. Hate is a personal decision. Come on, psychologists.
That's right.
It really is.
Hate is
a choice.
Personal decision. I choose to hate. Y'all gonna get me going. See, I'm all right. I'm all right.
Come on here.
That's good.
It's a personal decision. And because it's a personal decision, you can make other decisions unless that decision has led to a psychosis. Because I can't change my mind. Because my mind is sick.
Unless.
I can't change my behavior unless I made racism and prejudice a part of my basic lifestyle. I'm sick.
That's it.
And people who are sick need to be treated.
Right.
Right.
That's it. That's it.
They absolutely do.
But most often in culture, depends upon your zip code. Whether your sickness is treated or criminalized.
Yes.
So if I live in the right hood, in the right neighborhood, my psychosis, I get help and treatment. If I live in the hood, I go to jail.
Well,
see, I'm not gonna get any angrier than I already am. Goodness gracious, Lord have mercy.
However,
and Bishop, we really need to look at the moral injuries that our people have suffered. Not just veterans have moral injury, because they've had to do things that
That's
were against the will of God. But there is a lot of moral injury in our communities where people really need to seek the help that they need. And you have to ask sometimes for help and not just expect help to be given to you.
Well, see, the person who's crazy is the last one to know they're crazy.
well,
Come on, counselor. Am I
Very
right?
true. Very
Am I
true.
right?
Very true. The
Most
trouble with some
do,
people
be
is
true
they
to
can't
thine own
admit their
self.
faults. I'd admit mine if I had any.
I don't know. I have to ask the medical experts. But what I heard was,
Right.
most of the time people say, "Do you think I'm? Do you think I'm a little? Do you think I've gone over? Do you think I'm whatever?" And the ones who really are the last ones to know, or the last ones to ask. What has happened, and I'm talking about in Black and brown communities, is that we have been traumatized so long, we don't know that we need to ask for help. We're just beginning to talk about post-traumatic syndrome of racism. Racism is relentless. People are stressed all day, all the time, all their lives through macro and micro racism.
Wow.
On the job, in the store, wherever you go, it is relentless. And it is so relentless that it's difficult for you to escape from. And because you can't escape from it, it becomes a part of your daily life, and you think this is normal.
That's it.
Wow.
You think this is normal.
That's it.
And
But I just want to
remember-
remind persons, please, those of you who are listening with us, please hit that share button. Share this broadcast so that others might be able to grab some of this wisdom we're getting from Bishop McKenzie. Dr. Wright, I believe you were about to speak.
One of the things that, as Bishop is talking, what comes to my mind is the importance of dialogue. I've seen so many situations where people don't know how to they don't know how to articulate what it is they need to say. They know in their minds what they need to say. They know that there really is an issue, but having the right structure to articulate what they need and struggling with that. And oftentimes they're taken advantage of. It's like having someone who has a speech impediment or someone who is has a difficulty with a foreign language, and people talk over them. And so there has to be the right voice to help them articulate what it is they want to say. And in this time, Bishop said it. We've seen, some of us have seen this before, but now we've got. I think our kids are at a point to where it's darn if you do and darn if you don't. If we protest, you're gonna kill us. If we don't protest, you're gonna kill us. So we don't have any fear of dying for what we think is right. And so if we don't have a voice as to how to articulate that, we're gonna use whatever voice we got. And for some of them, it's throwing rocks. For some of them, it's marching down the street. For some of them, it's chanting. We don't know. But when do we have that voice? When do we give them that voice?
if you don't give people voice, they'll take it, period. And so when people are angry, traumatized, and upset, and every avenue of resolving the problem is closed to you, then that's when you take it to the street. And I express my anger in the only way that I know how. So then it takes the old soldiers, those who've been on the field, who say, okay, we did that, all right. And we saw how far that went. So my mother would say the young folks are for running and the old folks are for cunning. And so the young folk have the legs, the energy to go to do, but they also must be connected to those who have the wisdom to make sure that they have the greater impact of what they know. That's why I listed all those things. I'm angry, but you know what I need? I need a database, and I need this, and I need that. And I'm angry, and express your anger, because we don't want you to get depressed. That's anger turned on the inside. I'm angry, but next time we tell you it's time to go vote, I don't want to hear about you tired and my vote doesn't count and it ain't gonna make no difference. Who elected
Mhm.
these attorney generals that are making these charges in the first place?
Yeah.
Okay, so before you vote for that attorney general, you need to investigate their record.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, before you elect this judge,
Better.
you know, before you go vote for this judge, you need to take a look at this judge's record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know, before you get in the police chief, before you go and, you know, you go to these hearings on police chief, you need to go find out. You need to go find out. Many places have citizens boards, and some of them do, some of them don't. But at least the citizens board has an opportunity to review complaints of excessive force. At least they have at least there's somebody, as I said, on the inside that can articulate your anger.
Okay, Bishop. So
I
someone
didn't do
you know, that we can, you say, be able to articulate your anger, and I'm at a place, and it's part of, I said this Sunday virtually to my people, not in person, but that I'm tired of being tired,
Mm.
and it's at the place that, okay, now it seems like since there was a crowd saying to police officers, get up off of his neck, let up off, that
Wow.
now it seems like something has finally clicked with people outside of African Americans. Um, but you say, though, that protest is the voice of those who don't have a voice, and then yet there's so many of us who are proclaimers. But yet, even our proclamation, we don't have voice. And I'm saying this to get to here is that, and I know that there's some that are listening that will disagree. That's fine, but I own this for myself. Um, but but I'm not interested in those who are proclaimers of the gospel. And let me just simply say this: those who are white, who are asking me to come now stand with them.
Mm.
I need them to stand by themselves
Mm.
and make a statement and say, you know what? We want to stand here as white clergy, white Christians, as white believers in Christ by ourselves, and to be able to say this, but don't come and ask me to now stand with you, because I feel like over the years, and I'm not talking about the civil rights with King. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that over these years, and let me pick up with Trayvon Martin, because that's raw to me. I was in Orlando when Trayvon Martin was murdered, and it's raw. But don't ask me to come stand with you or hold a prayer vigil if I cannot hear you by yourself say that I now represent at least a segment of my race. And here it is. I want to make this statement. But when you say we have a voice, and we do have voice, but until white America
That's right.
stands up and says this is wrong and we have to make a change, how much more
That's right.
is there how much more of an expectation is there for African Americans to continue to say this, when we know that we got our white clergy, white Christians, white brothers and sisters who are still being silent?
Mm.
Well, as I said, all of this is a personal decision. You made a personal decision to do that, and they may be silent because of the personal decisions that they made, or the people who are part of their constituency. So if I say this, then my constituency is going to abandon me, or or kick me out, or feel less than whatever. So I'm silent so that I can, fit in to get in, get in deal. But it's true. We have to be clear that this issue is not just our issue,
Amen.
America's issue.
Yes.
That means all Americans are impacted by it. When you begin to racialize a pandemic and say, oh, all of them are dying. Okay, good. We're going out now. Open the stores.
Okay.
All right. Open the movies.
Because that's exactly what they
Oh,
did.
I apologize to everyone right now. Give me just a second. Thank you.
Okay, so it can't be an issue that I own. It's everybody's issue.
Right.
Because if it's just my issue and they're able to silence me, dehumanize me, assault my personhood, and ground me to dust,
Mm.
then the next group they choose is going to happen to them too.
Exactly.
Bingo. So
Wow.
whatever group, culture decides that, we don't like for whatever reason, then, the same thing is going to happen to them. So let's be clear. America has always counted on second and third class citizens who will do work that they do not want to do.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow. Okay.
immigrant farmers came up from Mexico to pick the fruit and the lettuce and all that kind of stuff because they work cheaper, and because they poor and they need it, they come and they do it. They come and they do it and they go back home. However, America has always counted on a class of people who will work for more and get paid less because that's all they can do if they get paid at all.
Right.
If they get paid, from the beginning of the country.
That's right.
What people say, racism is America's original sin.
Yeah. Wow. You on CNN, you spoke about 3 pandemics: the viral pandemic, economic pandemic, and racial pandemic. And our brothers and sisters from our culture use this viral pandemic as a to get their other issues pressed or pushed through. They use this as a smokescreen to talk to their brothers and sisters to make sure that they are using us or using what's going on to get their points across. Can you
Yeah.
speak a little more about that?
Well, my assignment was
Well,
my assignment was
Yeah.
to be a part of an honor, a remembering of at that point 102,000 people who had died because of COVID-19. Now it's 105
That's right.
people who have died. So touch your neighbor, say, this ain't over. This
It's
ain't
not
over.
over.
It's not over.
No.
It's not over. Don't let nobody fool you. It is not
Yeah.
over. And so I was going to share words of comfort and share a little bit about what we were doing in the 10th district during this pandemic, and then have a word of prayer.
Right.
And so as I'm waiting, I'm in the waiting room, as I'm waiting, I can hear everything that's going on. And I hear a beautiful tribute to a man who was, wonderfully talented, writer, Broadway, and just moved me to tears. And then somebody else came on and gave words of comfort and a prayer. Then I hear this moving tribute by a woman whose husband had died. And I'm going like, oh, it's just gripping my heart. And so then they tell me, all right, 5 seconds. I said, all right, I'm sitting right here. I'm waiting. And then the next thing I see are pictures of people riding in the streets.
Wow.
And I'm going like,
Wow.
what just happened here? Wait a minute now.
Wow.
Look.
Wow.
And so I see riding, and these things happen, and these things happen, and these things are happening over the weekend. And now Bishop McKenzie.
Wow.
I said,
Wow.
hey, you open the door, I'm going through.
Switch.
Wow.
Right.
I was doing my assignment. You asked me to, I was doing my assignment. And so what I said is that there's more than one pandemic going on, and you need to realize that. It is the global health pandemic, it is an economic pandemic, and it's an ongoing racial pandemic, period. And just as we have men and women who are dying, mothers and talented people who are dying unexpectedly, you have mothers and fathers who are bearing children unexpectedly. Just as people are standing at the graveside of those who are dying, shouldn't die, didn't need to die,
Mm.
because of whatever policy or practice was going on. Then if you come to our side of the page, we got, Ahmed Arbery, and you got Breonna Taylor, people who didn't need to die and shouldn't have died. And so if we're going to mourn for one, we're going to mourn for the other. I mean, there are more people who have died of this disease
Yeah.
than have died. I think, was it in Vietnam War or some other war?
Yes.
More people have died because of that. And so I started to count how many people have died through senseless acts of violence at the hands of official America.
Mm.
And I got beyond 105,000 people.
Yeah, 106.
So we have to realize this. And all of these pandemics is traumatizing. It is traumatizing. The first pandemic, the global pandemic, health pandemic, was traumatizing. It's stressful. Stress drains you when you don't have answers, when it doesn't work out right away, when it's just pressing and this pandemic is not giving nobody a break. There's no days off. There's no time off, and nobody's exempt. Y'all run around and think that you're exempt from this? Ha. Okay.
Yeah. Say it again.
No, everybody's affected. It knows no race, no age group, no nothing.
Yeah.
Young girl, 16-year-old here in Texas, on her way to the Honor Society, gone.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Gone.
Right.
30-some-year-old elementary school principal who's just like a captain of the ship, who ain't gonna leave until everybody gone. She's gone. She's gone. People who shouldn't have died, didn't need to die, are dying needlessly. And it's stressful. And people say, oh, well, that wasn't in my family. I feel it. I feel it.
Yes.
I feel it. And just when you think, we may have a handle on this, we may be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, bam.
Yeah.
Here we are back again with another pandemic that still has never ceased.
That's right.
Going pandemic, and it's called racial prejudice in the United States. So all of this, Bishop Walter Thomas preached. He said, we used to talk about trouble and saying about trouble don't last always. Well, we got more than trouble. We got trauma.
Yes.
And trauma stays. Trauma hangs around.
Yeah.
Trauma doesn't know how to leave the house. Trauma doesn't know that the party is over. It's time for them to go.
Yeah.
Trauma doesn't understand that they're not going to be a second helper to this dinner. And so trauma stays around. And trauma has a greater impact than trouble. And I think what we are is that these pandemics are traumatizing if we don't learn how to take care of our hearts, our minds, our souls, and our psyches. Because all that stuff that people thought, like, I don't know about church, I don't know about Jesus, I don't know about that. I believe in science. Science is not helping you now.
Come on.
Politicians are not helping you now. All right.
Yeah.
We need to go back to the well, to our time-honored spiritual disciplines. Keep us sane, keep us whole, keep us in faith in Jesus Christ, that we can make it through this. One thing that I said on Sunday, and I think that they thought they're trying to hurt me by the time I got to that part. I said, we're, they were saying, people say we're all in this together. No, we're all in different places. And I said, we're swimming in the same pool.
Yes.
All of us don't have a life preserver. Okay. And all the boats in this pool are not the same size.
Oh no.
Oh, now Bishop McKenzie, time to pray. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And and Jake Capper, he does an excellent job. It's amazing, and after the prayer, I said, this is awesome. This is awesome. I said, that we are really in deep waters if CNN is going to allow somebody to pray.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And I said, Jake Tapper is doing what?
Yes.
Yes.
Because somewhere somebody knows that if we're going to honor people who have lost their lives to this pandemic, to these pandemics, to all of this, then hey, we need to back up to the power source that can change the narrative.
My Lord.
Change the narrative. I can't change leadership, but I know somebody who can.
Yay.
You know, I can't change. I know somebody who can.
Yeah.
So we need to be in communication, all right, with one who can. I'm just waiting. No, never mind. I stopped.
Come on. Come on with that. Come on.
Oh, no. That's enough.
Bishop.
You know, some
How-
stuff, you know, they say, what lessons you learn? Some stuff you just hold on a little while longer. Scripture said that Mary
That's
hid
good.
something in her heart.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Bishop, there are so many people that are looking for answers during this time, and have fallen depressed, in a depressive state. What do you tell them? How do you explain to them how to get out of this?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, for all the counselors who are watching and listening, they'll tell you that depression is anger turns inward. I have no place for that anger to go, and so then it's internalized.
Yeah.
And I feel overwhelmed and I feel helpless, and so there's nothing I can do. I've done all the things that I know how to do. I talked to my girlfriend. Talked to my best buds. I went to the movies. I did all these things that I usually do that help me get out of this. I cannot do that. I cannot do. So then, you know, I go back to what I have said consistently from the beginning of this pandemic. Grieve your disappointments.
Yeah, Lord.
Don't hold on to them. Don't hold on to it on the inside. Grieve your disappointments, and it's good. And if you don't live with folk, then it's okay to say it out loud. You know, I'm mad. I'm mad that I can't go. I'm mad. They asked me to take a pay cut so that everybody's. I'm mad. I'm mad. I can't have a problem. I'm mad. After all these years, I get a degree, and I'm not gonna. We're not gonna have a party on this. I'm mad. I brought the dress. I got the. I have the venue. I paid the caterer, and you mean I'm gonna have to wait till this pandemic is over to get married? What?
Yeah.
You know, grieve my losses. They fired me. I've been on this job for 15 years. All that I did for this, come on, you know what that's saying.
Yeah.
All I've ever done for and this is how they treat me.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Grieve your losses. Even the loss of freedom. You know, even the loss of freedom. I can't go where I want to go to do what I want to do, and that makes me angry. Go ahead and grieve your losses, articulate it. This is a good time to do a journal, write it down, tell somebody, say something out loud, you know, Dad, this sucks.
Yes.
And then, you know, you own that. Okay, we know. All right, we know it's not going to work out. Then try not to float through this deal. Try not to float, because it's the easiest thing to do. Trust, I know. I said, you know, all I really want to do is go home, get in my chair, and turn on the TV. All right? You can float your way through this deal, and it's not going to work out. It's just not going to work out. Ain't nothing on anyway.
Well,
just float yourself through that. Don't do that. Put yourself on a schedule. You know, for me, I said that there are one or two things I need to achieve this day. Don't overwhelm that achievement. You know, don't like say, you know, today I'm going to clean the whole house from top to bottom. That ain't gonna work. Pick up and if you get through that closet, that's the best you can do today. That's wonderful. All right. Put yourself on a schedule. You know, I have a 6-year-old granddaughter, and she comes to stay with us when her mommy and daddy got to write sermons. Go see Nina. We got to get Sunday service together, right? Okay, fine. Come on over. Like I don't have to write myself, okay? But come on over. And we get up in the morning, and she says, Nina, why are you getting dressed? We're not going anywhere today. There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go. Why do we have to get dressed? And I said, because we have a whole day in front of us. And there's no telling what God will do in our day. And we need to be ready for the day.
Right.
So let's get the teeth done, the hair done, and get everything out, and put clothes on. And you'd be surprised when you put clothes on, it really makes you feel better.
Mm.
Makes you feel better. Nina, why you got on lipstick? Because it makes me feel better. Okay.
Yeah.
In your day, when you're trying to get out of that funk, when you're trying to get out of that corner, all right, what you want to do is do things that help make you feel better. I love to read, so I picked several books that I'm reading through this pandemic. I'm taking a master class. Do you know that Harvard offers free classes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just go online and pick stuff that you thought like, oh, I want to know about that. Now, that subject may have nothing to do with your career, with your life, but it has everything to engage your creative mind.
Yeah.
Your creative mind, to engage your mind. It's almost like taking your mind off of all the stuff that's going on. I started to say crap that's going on, but the stuff that's going on. See?
It works. It works. It works.
Do that. And so, and then make a decision on how you want to be and where you want to be when you come out of this.
Make a decision. I like that.
I tell people, make it work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Make it work for you. All the stuff you said you everyone, you can do it. Make it work for you. Make it work for you. So, bingo.
I just got someone just posted, I'm mad. I'm mad that I can't go to church. Online is okay, but I'm mad. And people are being honest with these responses. They're quoting what you're saying. Write a journal. I need to write my stuff down. I need to write my anger down, my depression down. I need to write about it. But that one stuck out. I'm mad.
I'm mad. And express it, get it out of your system. I love music, so I put on my gospel music and I tell the people in the house, I say, look, I'm getting ready to, what's her name? Alexa and I get ready to have a party. Now, if you can't handle this, you need to go to another part of the house because it's getting ready to be real loud right now. Because sometimes you need to sing it out, you need to play it out, you need to shout it out, you need to dance it out to create room for God to get in the midst of this, to begin to work with you and for you, so that you and God can make this pandemic work out for your best instead of working out for your detriment. Because that's the job of the preacher. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Is to articulate, and I jokingly laughed about it, but obviously the sons and daughters of Issachar missed this one.
My Lord. Uh-oh. You stepping in it now, see.
It's true. Everybody said, wow, we didn't know this was happening. Oh, we didn't know this was coming. Wow, we never know. We didn't know. The sons and daughters of Issachar are supposed to be able to discern the times.
If they're awake.
Yeah, and so for everybody who missed it, come on now, everybody who missed it or didn't feel it as it was coming, as it was unfolding, as it was folding, it became, for me, I could feel the weight. Somewhere around in the beginning of March, I said, "Oh Lord," and people were saying like, "Oh, in a couple of weeks it'll be us." Don't feel that way. It's just. Just like Jeremiah said, y'all gonna be here for 70 years, and all them prophets that say 7 years, y'all gonna be out of this mess. That's what's gonna happen.
Bible.
And so this is the moment for us to ask God, Lord, what's on your mind? What do you want us to do? I've said it before. Lord, we don't know what to do, but our eyes are on you.
Bishop, there is a question here that I want you to speak to. The question is, how do we deal with our privileged Blacks?
Okay.
They says just
You
get
talking about financial fit. I get it. Like if you say with white privilege, you're talking about black privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody sent me a clip from Columbus, Ohio, where Congresswoman Beatty was peacefully protesting with people, and they pepper sprayed her.
Mm-hmm.
They knew who she was.
Mm-hmm.
And she was trying to keep peace. She was saying, don't incite the people. Don't incite them. They're just trying to get down this street. They're just trying to protest peacefully. Don't incite them. And whoop, bingo. It's the same thing
Ah.
when Mordecai went to Esther.
Well,
Just because of your
my.
position don't mean that this stuff ain't going to come out of your house.
I know.
To you and your families.
You better preach, Bishop.
Tell it.
It's not so much what you say and what you do. Circumstances will come around the corner to help them see for themselves. Because if you say, well, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing it because you privileged, da 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 da, then you put people on the defensive. Allow the Lord to teach the lesson.
I love it.
Teach the lesson.
Wow.
So this thing knows no socioeconomic condition. I'm talking about race and COVID.
Right.
No socioeconomic. Don't care whether you're white or black, what your age is. Da 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 da. If it's coming for you, it's coming for you.
That's right. Coming for you.
Pray every day, girl.
Yes, every day, all day. Pray without ceasing, my Lord.
Pray every day. Pray every day.
Well, Bishop, we have just a few moments left. I don't see anyone else who's posted a question right now. But my understanding is that you had another birthday.
Yeah.
And I did. Another trip around the sun. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you. And shout out to all the May babies. May babies are special, aren't we? You know, May babies are just, I don't care. I don't know, January, February, March, whatever yours is. May babies are just special.
Come on,
we're the
August.
spring babies. We come when the weather starts getting warm.
Yeah.
Come on, August, baby. Come on, August, baby.
Transformation of stuff coming back to life.
Yeah.
All right. Come on, August.
I'm grateful. Well, that's all right. That's the summer babies, you know.
Hey.
Beach babies, okay? Beach babies.
Yeah.
But God has blessed us to have another trip around the sun. And the district was keeping secrets. All y'all kept secrets.
Sorry.
Didn't say nothing. Talked to me all day long. Didn't say nothing. But they really blessed me because I really wasn't paying attention to birthday because we were, you know, we have all these pandemics going and we were trying to get the team together to feed the people that we fed 5,000 today. You know, get our spring convocation up and on the internet, which was a Herculean task in itself.
Yes,
And
it was wonderful though.
All the other things that were going. I said, I'll wait till the first week in June and celebrate because it's just too much going on. And the people blessed, and thank you. It really did. Put tears in my eyes and everything. Makeup running all over me. Look what they did.
And we had fun doing it, right? Yeah.
And we had fun, and I still want that Corvette.
Reverend Phillips, if you're listening.
You know, you come. They were in a birthday parade, and they came up in a Corvette with the top down. I said, "Oh, is this for me?"
You have not because you asked not.
And they said, "Oh no, this one's not yours." I said, "Well, you can bring mine back anytime."
Yes, it's on order.
I want one in red. Thank you.
Bishop, on the last time that we did our broadcast, I see that you are in a different colored Selah shirt at this time around.
Yeah.
But there were many who asked how could they get a Selah shirt. They saw the black shirts that we had the last time, but there are requests out. And so if you can just make that known to those who are listening, if they want a Selah shirt, how do they get one?
All right, I'd be happy to tell you. Can you see the shirt? I'm trying to make it so you see the shirt better.
Yeah.
Yay! We have Sailor tees in black and pink, hot pink, and red. And those are the three colors. I'm sorry, we're working on blue. We're working on blue. We're working on blue. But we have black and pink and red right now. And if you go to Selah, SELAH, VMM at gmail.com and say you would like to have one. They are from size medium to 3X. They're fitted. So you want to go a size up. You know, you may want to go a size up.
Yes. Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's SelahVMM at gmail.com and you can order the shirts. I think they're $25 plus shipping and handling, and we'd be happy to send it out to you. Selah Online is about to debut.
Yes. Yay!
Selah Online, we started out with Selah Online a couple of years ago, and we then went into, you know, person-to-person Selah. And so in between now and when we have Selah face-to-face, which will be November, prayerfully, we're planning in faith. That's all you can do, my brothers and sisters. You plan in faith. And if God says we can assemble, then we will assemble. Otherwise, we will see each other like we've seen each other live and in living color.
And is there a web address for the Selah Online?
You will, if you pay attention to social media, you'll get the link. It'll be on Facebook Live. Selah Leadership has a Facebook page, so it'll be on Selah Facebook Live. It'll also be on YouTube. You can subscribe to the Bishop Vashti McKenzie YouTube page, and it will also be there. My first guest for Selah Online is Congresswoman Val Demings. She's got quite a story.
Yes.
And she's got a lot to say.
Yes.
And so we want to hear what she has to say.
Oh, yes.
And it'll be Monday, June 15th at 7 p.m. Central.
You all hit the heart buttons and thank Bishop McKenzie for pouring into us a second time. Hit those heart buttons. Let us see those heart buttons.
Yes.
And thank Bishop McKenzie for being with us on Timely Wisdom once again. Thank you, Bishop.
You guys are awesome. I applaud you. I hope you keep going. I was able to jump into the room to hear Dr. Cecilia Williams Bryant last week that bless our socks off.
Yeah.
And, I sneak in from time to time just to, to hear, and for me to be refreshed. So thank you. Like I said, you do things to nourish yourself to help you feel good. With you guys having conversation on Tuesday afternoon helps nourish my soul and help me feel good. So thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you for that encouragement.
All right, ladies, we have about 2 minutes before we go off air. Dr. Wallace, you joined us a little bit late. Just any kind of greetings that you want to give to our audience. I know you're coming in from Atlanta with us before we close out for today.
I just want people to really be in prayer for our brothers and sisters. I had a veteran last week who had lost 9 family members in 1 month to COVID.
Oh, wow.
And I have not been able to do anything but pray because it touched me so deeply. And I just ask that you may not have been impacted by COVID. You may not know anybody impacted by COVID. You may not know anybody that has had to stay at home or lost a job or been furloughed, as Bishop said, or you are walking the streets and trying to protest. Pray for this nation and pray for people who are suffering, because there is so much suffering right now.
Wow. Thank you for that. Please. Yes, let us keep everyone in prayer. Thank you. Dr. Bradford, we'll close out with you. You want to share with us who our guest is on next week, please?
Next week, we'll have the retired senior bishop of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, none other than Bishop John R. Bryant. We are so excited to to have him on the broadcast. He is excited to be here, and he's going to share a plethora of knowledge. We're just here waiting, waiting, and waiting in anticipation of what God is going to do. Come back next week. Come back next Tuesday at 3 o'clock to hear what thus says the Lord, to hear some wisdom from a man of God who has shared over the years. Amen.
Amen. God bless you all. Thank you for joining us this week on Timely Wisdom. And the Lord says the same. We'll see you next week, same time. God bless.
God bless y'all.